Hello and happy holidays. My name is Ronav and we're gonna start making cinnamon rolls. The ingredients are flour, all-purpose flour, sugar, brown sugar, butter, and then some cooking utensils, and you need a circle pan. You also need yeast, vanilla extract, and cinnamon, and a bowl to mix in. To start, we're gonna melt the butter down, and then we're gonna put it in the bowl that you're gonna use to mix, and put some active dry yeast, and put it on, and let that sit for 10 minutes to let the yeast. So the butter is melted, so you pour it into the bowl, and you add some of the active dry yeast. You can only use a little bit. Also, before the 10 minutes, you have to add warm milk into the base. Add warm milk and some granulated sugar. Around half a cup of granulated sugar and around 1 cup of warm milk. After all that, then you mix it all together and let it sit for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, the yeast should be bloomed, as you can see. After that, add 3 to 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Save some all-purpose flour for later when we're going to be kneading the dough. After you've mixed it and everything's equally hydrated, it should about look like this. Then you take some cling film or cling wrap. Take some and you wrap it over and you leave that to sit for an hour, but you should leave it in a warmer spot of your kitchen so it can help the growth. After you've sifted or just put in the flour, you need to get some baking powder. It can be any baking powder. And take a small spoon of it and put it in. It can only be a tiny bit. And also put a bit of salt. The salt is not gonna make it taste salty. It's just gonna enhance the flavor of it. You might want to take a small spoon or just put it in. Then after that, you can take the wooden spoon that you used before and wash it, and then just mix it all together. You can do this in the KitchenAid stand mixer if you want to. After you're done mixing the dough, it should be sort of dry, but it has plenty of liquid in it. It should have it should look a bit oily and feel a bit oily. After that, you can either use a board or either you can use a board or just this. And you should take a little cup of flour in the corner in case the dough gets a bit too sticky. But make sure not to use too much. So I'm just gonna put some down. And then you have to start kneading the dough. So just start mixing all the dough together. If there's a whole bunch of little pieces, just clump them all together. Start rolling into a sort of ball. You can knead it however you want. I just like to sort of roll it in a ball. And if there's a whole bunch of little pieces like this, squeeze it back on, clump it back up, and just keep on kneading it. After you're done kneading it, you should tuck the ends of it into the middle so it sort of looks like a ball and start turning it. So it sort of looks like a ball. And then move that to the side and then we're gonna make the filling. So take some butter. Should be a bit hot. Take some butter, it should be softened. So if you squish it, it'll be really soft. Some cinnamon. And some brown sugar right here. put some cinnamon into the thing, into the bowl. Add a bit. Then take some of the brown sugar and also add it in. And then you should just mix it all together. So, like, if the butter is not that softened like this, then you should just like try to move it around more so it gets more softened and runny. After you're finished making the dough and kneading it into a small ball, if you have any leftover butter wrappers, you should butter your tin. And that makes sure the cinnamon rolls don't stick to the pan or anything. And to make the filling for the cinnamon roll, you need softened butter, like really softened, because that'll make it easier to spread. And to mix it, you need cinnamon. And you also need brown sugar. It can be dark brown sugar or light brown sugar. You can choose. And if you have a lot of dough like this, if you have a bit of vanilla extract and you want to add a bit of taste to this, you can add a smidge of vanilla extract into the filling if you want to add a bit. And if you have a lot of dough like this, chop it. You can save some for later in the fridge. Because you can freeze this in the fridge for a very long time. Just roll the other one into a ball and you can save it for later or for like next week if you ever want to. And then with the leftover dough you have, you need to roll it out with the rolling pin. And you have to add the filling. And you should make it into like a small rectangle shape so it'll be easier to roll this and to spread the filling. And if it's sort of like a roundish shape, either you can cut it or shape it. I would suggest cutting it because it's way easier. And you can use the excess and put the rest of your other saved ball. Okay, so we're left with this. Now it's time to add the filling that we made. So you can add like a small plop of it. I like to add it in different spots so it's easier to spread. And plus, if you add it in different spots, then it's easier to spread. And you can spread it all the way across. Also, same thing with the filling. If you had a bit extra, you can just put it in the fridge and save it for later. And make sure you get the filling all across the dough. After it's like this, you should roll it up from the side or from the top if you're doing it vertically. You should start rolling it. After that's done, you have to cut it into small little slices. If you have dental floss, you can wrap it around and cut it inside out. But since I don't have dental floss, I'll just cut it. And you can put it in your buttered pans. Make sure to cut a lot so you can fill up the entire pan. If you have bits of extra, then you can just put it to the side with the rest of the dough and filling. And after it's like this, you should let this proof for around 45 minutes. After your cinnamon buns have finished proofing, you can preheat the oven to 350 and then set a timer for 25 minutes after you put it in. If you want to, this is optional. You can make egg wash to put over it, the cinnamon buns, so it'll like add a bit of taste to it. So I'm going to. All you need to do, open an egg, break it up, and then mix it all together. Get one of these, I forgot what they're called. Put it in the egg wash. Just put it across the cinnamon buns. So after it is at 350, it's at 340, but it's fine. You slip it in and leave it in there for 25 minutes. 25 to 30 minutes, you can choose. So if you've done everything correctly, then if you open this, the cinnamon roll should be done. Ta-da! Alright, it's almost ready. For a quick tip, if you want to make it taste better and look better, you can take some powdered sugar if you had some. Thanks for watching. If you've done everything correctly, then you should end up with the same like mine. And also, thanks for watching and happy holidays. Oh, good.